A very good morning to all the students of class 12th political science, and students, welcome back here to the online classes. And as you know very well, we were doing the first chapter of our book Politics in India Since Independence, and the name of the chapter is Challenges of Nation Building. In the very beginning of this particular chapter, in the very first part, I told you regarding the first and important three challenges with India as a newly independent state faced. The challenges like it was nation building, or we can say unity or integrity. Then the second challenge was democracy, and the third one is development. So accordingly, I told you that in this first particular chapter we shall be reading only about nation building, and in the second chapter about democracy, and the third chapter we shall be taking about the development. But in this first chapter, talking about the nation building, unity and integrity of our nation, which was the first and the most important challenge which our country faced just after the independence period, and especially after the partition. So under this topic, nation building, I told you, we will be taking three topics: partition, integration of princely states, and reorganization of states. So we had already finished partition, we had done integration of princely states in detail, and today we shall be starting the third challenge under nation building, is reorganization of state. As I told you, nation building was the first and the most important challenge which our country faced just after independence, and immediately these were to be tackled properly. Like problem of partition, we have seen in detail all the problems and also its consequences. Then integration, bringing all the princely states to merge with the Indian Union, we have seen it, and we have also seen those four exceptions. Those four princely states were where Indian government has to make a lot of efforts to merge these princely states to Indian Union. Like we talked of Hyderabad, we talked of Manipur, Kashmir, like this. Okay. In the same way, today we are taking the third challenge under nation building, is reorganization of states. So what does this mean, reorganization of states? As we know, every country has a territory. Suppose this is the territory of India. After independence, this is India. Now it was important for us to divide India into various states and union territories, because as a whole country cannot live together. There has to be divisions, maybe based on religion, caste, or maybe on the basis of language. But as under the British, the territories were divided on the different basis. We shall be reading here further, but here I would say country is to be divided into two parts: states, not parts, for the reorganization, for internal distribution of boundaries or union territories. So now it was a challenge that how, as a country, as a India after independence, how we have to reorganize the states to form various states or union territories. So this was the challenge of India, like dividing the states on the basis of their language or regional differences. Okay, so very first point I'm starting here. This was just for the introduction. The process of nation building did not come to an end with the partition and integration of princely states. So they are saying the process, the challenge which we are reading, nation building was the first challenge which we faced immediately after the independence. It did not come to end only with, if we had solved the problem of partition, we had also integrated all the princely states to India. But the problem of nation building did not end with these two problems. The next problem, or the next challenge, was to draw the internal boundaries of Indian states. Okay, there was partition completely. We had divided India and we had given a separate nation for Pakistan on the basis of religion. But now the challenge was to draw the internal boundaries within India, the independent country, within our territory. The challenge was to draw the boundaries of Indian state. What would be the base to draw those boundaries, to divide or make distinctions between the people and the geographical areas? How would India do that? This was a big challenge. Now starting and taking the second point here, during the colonial period or the colonial rule, that is before the independence, when there we were subjugated by the British rule. So during that period, the state boundaries in India were drawn either on the administrative convenience. So the division between the states was according to the administrative convenience. So it was the boundaries were made in such a way that it was easy to administer the regions and the territories coming under British rule. or simply the other way of the division of boundaries was simply coincided with the territories annexed by the British, or simply the territories which were captured by the British government, that was made the boundary of various I would say territories of the state, or territories ruled, or there were, as I told you, 565 princely states. So those all princely states had different territories, they had their own boundaries. So this was the type of boundaries, or the division of the boundaries or territory on the basis of administrative convenience, or territories annexed by the British government, or the boundaries under princely power. So these three were the ways according to which the boundaries have been organized in the colonial rule, that is before the independence. But now, as we were independent, so it was a challenge to again reorganize these boundaries or the states, and this was a challenge that how we would do that. So coming and moving forward to the third point here, then Indian national movement had rejected these divisions as artificial. They are talking about these three divisions. Okay, if you talk about divisions, which three divisions? Which Britishers had made the divisions on the basis of administrative convenience, on the basis of the territories they had annexed, and on the basis of territories which were under princely powers. But Indian national movement during the freedom struggle, we had rejected these divisions as artificial. We termed these type of divisions as artificial, and had promised the linguistic principle of the basis of formation of state. And our freedom leadership, or the freedom struggles, or the constituent assembly, or the upcoming Congress government, they had promised the people of India that we shall be reorganizing the states, and the principle on which the states will be reorganized once again would be linguistic. Linguistic means on the basis of the language. So the base for the division of the boundaries or the reorganization of a state would be language. It was said by our own freedom fighters during the national movement. So it's written here, hence linguistic states were formed to change the nature of democratic policies which accepted the regional linguistic claims. So they are saying here, hence when this would happen, when we would make territories and make divisions of internal boundaries according to the language spoken in a particular region or geographical region, under that linguistic states were formed to change the nature. So it would change the nature of democratic policies in India, and would also accept, it means each state is accepting regional and linguistic claims and provided a uniform base to plural language of democracy. So although it would be a division on the basis of language and religion, but along with it there would be a new provision coming as a democratic country, where we will be respecting each and every religion and region and language. Although we have a lot of diversity, but along with it we will be united. So after reading the three points which we have discussed here in this topic, now the fourth point is drawing internal boundaries of Indian state was a real challenge, as we have already discussed. Internal boundaries after independence, to draw these internal boundaries, this was the real challenge and difficulty in front of the Indian government, as it was not just a method of administrative division, but has to be drawn in ways so that linguistic and cultural plurality of country could be reflected. It because they were dividing the boundaries or the internal boundaries or the reorganization of state in such a way that the cultural plurality, as people is speaking different languages, following different culture, customs, norms, so all the cultures, all the religion, all the norms of the society should be respected. And so keeping in that mind, we had divided to reorganize our state on the basis of language could be reflected without affecting unity of the nation. So we have to divide or reorganize the states in such a way that there should be a maintenance of cultural plurality of our country, and along with it should not affect the unity of the nation. It does not mean if we have divided various states according to the religion, it should not, there should not be conflict among the people, or they should not have the feeling that they belong to some other part. In fact, we all are Indians, so there should not be a distorting feeling of unity of nation. this point we have already discussed, that is before independence, Indian leaders or Indian leadership favored division of states on the basis of language, and rejected division made by the British government. As we talked about, the British had made distinction, or they have organized the states or the boundaries of the states on the basis of administrative convenience, or the boundaries or the territories which they have annexed, or on the basis of territories under princely states. But now, before independence, although our Indian leaders were in favor of the division which should be taken place under as a principle of language, but this changed after independence. But this thought, or this favor of the independence leaders changed after the independence. Why? Because of the partition. As we had seen the partition, now these independent leaders feared, and they saw, as in the case of partition, there was a division of our country on the basis of religion, Hindu, Muslim. Now they feared that there could be more partitions or the division of the country into small states on the basis of language. So in the previously they said, and they favored the division of state on the basis of language, but now they didn't wanted to carry on with this idea. They didn't wanted to take any chances, as they have seen we would say, impact of partition, as we have already read in the past parts. So they felt carving out states on the basis of language might lead to disruption. They saw that if we carve out more states on the basis of language, there would be a problem of disruption or disintegration. There could be division of our country into small states. So they dropped this idea. But the local leaders and the people objected it. But the local leaders and the people, they objected, as they said, during the freedom struggle, they had promised whom? The people, and the people, that there should be a division of the states on the basis of the language. But now, after the partition, they saw the consequences of the partition, how unrest was there in our country. So after this experience of partition, now our freedom struggles or the leaders didn't wanted to take any chance to further divide India into various smaller parts. So, but the local leaders of around the country and the people objected it. Protest began when the government said that there would be no division of the states on the basis on language currently, and they postponed this particular provision which they had thought that will divide states on the basis of religion, on the basis of language. They had postponed this because of the impact of partition which they have seen on India and the societies of India. So people here started protest and demonstration against the government, because here government thought that this was we could postpone this provision of dividing Indian states, and more important was to see the development and establishing democracy in our country. There was more important points and areas where they should pay attention. So they postponed this idea. But local leaders and people who are having problems in various parts of India, as we know, India is a large country with lot of diversity. So there were various areas having various problems, different problems. So people and local leaders there started protesting and bringing out demonstration against the government. So one such event took part in this area where I am talking about now. Protest began in Telugu speaking area. There is a Telugu speaking area in Old Madras. There is a Old Madras was a province which was under British rule. Here there were many people living in the same province, and one such group was Telugu speaking group. Okay, and presently this Old Madras is called Tamil Nadu, but at that particular time there were also parts of Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Karnataka and Telangana. Parts of these states were also under Old Madras at the time of independence, and here a group of people lived who spoke Telugu. Okay, so what happened? There was a leader. His name was Poti Sriramulu. He was a Congress leader and a veteran Gandhian. He used to follow Gandhi. He was along with him in the Salt March or Satyagraha. So he was a follower Gandhi. He went on a fast, okay, and led to death after 56 days. So this Poti Sriramulu, he was a Congress leader. He went on a fast because he wanted a separate state for the Telugu speaking people living in Old Madras, which included today's Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Karnataka, Telangana. All these states had some part within the old Madras. But Telugu speaking people wanted a separate state now, and they started protest. And to support them was Poti Sriramulu, and he went on a fast, and he kept his fast for 56 days. But after 56 days, he was dead. This caused great unrest and resulted outburst in Andhra Pradesh. So Andhra region, I would say this because of his death, people were very aggressive, became aggressive. Lot of violence was there, unrest. Okay, that is why it's written here. Resulted outburst in Andhra region. So what happened when there was a complete unrest in the country, especially in the southern part of our country? Although these type of protests were also seen in other countries, but this had a great impact on our Indian government, as after this incident took place, after the death of Poti Sriramulu, there was so much of unrest and great unrest in this area. Prime Minister announced formation of separate Andhra state in December 1950. So there was a separate state, that is Andhra Pradesh, which was established in December 1950. Previously that was a part of old Madras, but now Telugu speaking people, they formed their another state, that's what Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so when around the country people saw that after demonstration and protest they were able to form a state on the basis of their language, this struggle for making the other states on linguistic lines. So here the struggle and demonstration started all over the country in the various places for the separate state on the linguistic lines in other parts of the country. So what could central government all wanted to postpone all this division and reorganization of states on the basis of language. But after this incident took place, people around the country and various states started their demonstrations and struggles. So central government appointed state reorganization commission. So central government thought, okay, we shall do this now, we shall divide the boundaries on the basis of the language, but for that we need a commission to work out on this. So they formed a state reorganization commission in 1953. Remember the date. Okay, in 1953 there was a appointment of state reorganization commission. It accepted that boundaries of states should reflect boundaries of different language. This commission said that boundaries of state, each state's boundary should reflect boundaries of different language. It means when we are entering from one state to another, we should feel that in that state people were speaking in a different language. When we have entered to other place, here people are speaking different language. So there should be a distinction between the languages as in the boundaries. So after working on this reorganization of states, State Reorganization Act 1956, there was an act of 1956 under which this state reorganization commission has created 14 states and 6 union territories. So in 1956, after working out after the independence what is the conditions, situations in our country, there were total 14 states and 6 union territories according to the report of state reorganization in 1956. So after that, it was hoped that if we accept regional and linguistic claims, it is we means talking of the government. So it was hoped that government said that if we accept regional and linguistic claims of all the regions, threat of division and separatism would be reduced. Because previously government thought that if we divide India on the basis if we make the divisions or the boundaries of the state on the basis of language, they could have the threat of disintegration of Indian states into small states or independent states, as we have seen in the case of partition. So government feared it, but after that government understood that if we accept regional and linguistic claims of all the regions, as there is a lot of diversity, there are different religions, there are different languages, we have to accept their religions and their languages, and the threat of division and separatism would be reduced. Through this, division of our country and separatism would be reduced. And previously they thought that through this division of boundaries there could be division of our country or there could be a separate states. This linguistic states underlined acceptance of principle of diversity. So we could say this linguistic states, as we have then carved out 14 states and 6 union territories from our country after independence, that through the Reorganization Act 1956. So we could say this principle of linguistic states could had accepted the principle of diversity. Yes, we are diverse, we are different in terms of language, religion, or language or culture, customs, but still we are one, we are Indians. Okay. So this was the reorganization of states. But after this, as we have seen, State Reorganization Act in 1956, as we had created 14 states and 6 union territories. But this acceptance of principle, this as we accepted the principle linguistic states, did not mean, however, that all state immediately became linguistic state. It does not mean that after 1956 all the states in India were divided and the boundaries were made according to the linguistic conditions or the language spoken on in those states. But slowly and gradually, with the time phase and as the problems came up, there was a need to separate certain regions into two parts according to their language or to the regional problem. So in the same way, Bombay was divided into Maharashtra and Gujarat in 1960. So in 1956 we had brought out State Reorganization Act of 1956. But after 4 years there was a need that now we should divide Bombay into two parts, that is Maharashtra and Gujarat, because people must have faced a lot of problems, because in Bombay this region of Maharashtra and other region was Gujarat. There was a difference if you talk about the language, culture or custom. So it was important to divide Bombay into two different parts. So Bombay was divided and their boundaries was, I would say, divided on the basis of the language. Here people spoke Marathi, here people spoke Gujarati. It means their customs, culture would have also been different, but they were staying together. So there would many times would have been a conflict among people on the various basis. In the same way, Punjab later on was a big state and it was divided into one state was carved out, that is Punjab, another was Haryana and Himachal Pradesh in 1966. So we can say that immediately after the State Reorganization Act of 1956, these kind of states were not divided immediately, but slowly and gradually with time, as we saw, there was a lot of problem among various states where different culture and language people were living together. So when the need was felt, they were separated from each other. So here 1966. In the same way, Assam was divided into Assam and Meghalaya. Now Assam as a big state was divided into two parts, Assam and Meghalaya in 1972. Same in Manipur and Tripura were separated. Now this was also one. Now they were also divided into two states and 1972. Again, in the, if I talk about northeast, another state was carved out from this region. Nagaland was also separated in 1963, because these are the seven sisters as we call them in north state. In a small state there are so many tribes living, they have different cultures, norms, languages, so they also wanted separate states according to their language, norms or customs. Now later on, Arunachal Pradesh and Mizoram were separated. Previously they were together in 1987. Can you see that gap of the time phase? So we cannot say that immediately after the act of reorganization in 1956 all the states were carved out according to the languages. But no, with the time phase and as we moved on and we saw the problems coming up in various regions according to the language, culture, customs, so a need was felt and they were separated slowly and gradually. And similarly, if I talk about our own state, which is Uttarakhand, and along with Uttarakhand there was Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. Previously it was Uttaranchal, now it's Uttarakhand, which was separated into a separate state, and we got separated from Uttar Pradesh in 2000. So not only language, along with some regional problems, customs, culture, which was very different, or some due to some developmental problems, there were many states, many regions which were not given any importance or development in terms of political, social, economic, cultural improvement in their lifestyle. So in that case there were various protests and demonstrations in Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Uttaranchal, or we could say Uttarakhand. Finally we got a separate state, that is Uttarakhand, and we got separated from Uttar Pradesh in 2000. So this is a story of the reorganization of the states and how we could say with changing time, with changing situations in a political, economic and cultural influence of the states, we could say more number of states dividing into various parts. So this was your last topic of this particular chapter, and in the next video we shall start the next chapter of your syllabus. Till then, thank you.